My mic is all set up. I'm back. I haven't recorded on here in over 2 weeks, and I am just excited to be back with you guys. I've been MIA, and even though 2 weeks doesn't seem like a lot for me, it felt like eternity because I love coming on here. I love doing the podcast. I love doing the solo Queen Talks episodes. And honestly, I just didn't have any time to get any content out because I was prioritizing some other things as the summer was wrapping up. And that's the topic I'm going to talk about today is focusing on things that are a priority and really getting your life in order once and for all. I think it's so easy in today's world to get really distracted and to not keep the main thing and to get derailed from the big rocks in your life and let pebbles in your life distract you. And I love this analogy. And actually, Shay Haddo, who is a confidence coach to female athletes, she was a guest speaker on one of my remote group training Zoom calls the other week. And she used this great analogy of filling a jar with what takes up the most space. So you can choose from rocks, boulders, or pebbles. And she asked the group, what would you put in the jar first that will take up the most space and that is most important? And everyone said the boulders. And then the next was the rocks. And then the next was the pebbles, the least important things, the small things, the things that you don't really need to get to right now, the distractions, the things that aren't urgent. I think as we go into the school year, it's going to be so crucial to get your schedule organized. Just as a backstory, I have always been a very organized and routine oriented person ever since I was a young kid, especially in high school when I was juggling sports and good grades and being in the band. Yes, I was in band class. I actually was first chair clarinet. I was pretty good at it, pretty into it, and I did band camp and all that stuff, but I was juggling a lot and I had to go to soccer practice. I had to do my strength and speed training. I had to practice my clarinet solos, all while trying to maintain straight A's. So, yes, life was really busy. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate and you feel so overwhelmed with everything that you're involved in as being a student athlete. But what really helped me and what has really carried over into my life today was being extremely organized and also over prepared and really getting ahead of things. So, as a small example, when I was in high school, if I had periods in school where I could work on some homework and get ahead, maybe that was at lunchtime or maybe I had a study hall, I made sure I got it done because the last thing I wanted was to procrastinate and save it till that night after soccer practice. And I would be only thinking about getting that assignment done during soccer practice. So I wouldn't even be present and giving my all at practice had I saved my homework for 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at night when I was getting home. So that would have stressed me out way more than front ending getting my work done. So that's just a small example to think about. And I grew up in a time where there wasn't social media, and I know that a lot of you guys have so many distractions going on, and it really is tempting. Like when you have your phone right next to you, it's just like second nature, just like pick it up and scroll a little bit and then get back to your homework or what you've been working on. But I encourage you to stop doing that. And if you have to go to the extreme of putting your phone in another room or turning off notifications or going on do not disturb and really getting your work done, it's going to pay dividends. Yes, it takes a lot of discipline, but discipline really sets you free. Staying organized and being on top of things, it sets you free in the end because then you're not so chaotic and all over the place. and you're losing focus at your soccer practice, or you're stressed that you waited to the last minute to do something, or you're showing up late to class, or you're showing up late to practice, it should never get to that point. So look at your schedule and look at how you're going to be extremely intentional with your time. I like to reinforce this a lot, especially during the club soccer season, because in terms of doing your strength and speed training and recovery in season, time needs to be made for that, because you have to maintain everything you worked for in the off season, and you have to stay explosive. And at your practices, you're not getting enough of top end speed work and a lot of those explosive, less than 6 second efforts. So those need to be continued, and you need to make time for them. And you also need to make time for your recovery workouts. And all of these in season workouts, they take less than 20 minutes. Some of the recovery workouts take less than 10 minutes. And anyone can find time to do a less than 20-minute workout in season. And it's really going to come down to how you organize your schedule. And you might have to be so detailed with it, so meticulous with it, that you write out your schedule and your routine to the hour or to every 30 minutes, and you don't waver on it. You don't let the phone distract you. You don't get lost in the abyss that is scrolling on reels and looking at TikTok and ending up doing that for 20 minutes, when in that 20 minutes, you could have done an in-season speed workout. So there's really no excuse to not make time for some of these bigger rocks. So your in-season training, of course, your homework always comes first as well. I would say that one is definitely the top, but you should never be saving anything for the last minute, even if that means on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday early evening, you're getting ahead of a school project that you know is coming in the next week or two, or a hard test that you feel you have to prepare extra and you have to start preparing 2 weeks out for that. So you really have to think about these things. You really have to get clear on them. And when you're so diligent with your routine and you're extremely over prepared with everything, you're going to find for the longer term, it's way more sustainable and you're way less stressed. I think a lot of people think that like stress and being overwhelmed is normal, but I'd argue that if you have a great routine, then you're going to not be as stressed, and it's a lot more manageable to handle all of it. Another thing I like to do is to make sure if I have any big projects coming up or big meetings or people I need to respond to, I have to write it down and make a list. Otherwise, I'm going to forget it, or it's going to be in my phone. If I don't write it down, I don't have a reminder. If it's not in the calendar, I'm not going to be there. I'm probably going to forget it or show up late or just totally flake on someone. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be this chaotic, disorganized person. And it's not really about me. It's more so about respecting other people and showing up for them. So that could mean with you guys, showing up for your teachers, respecting them, respecting your coaches, showing up for your teammates, and being totally present at practice because you are organized on the back end of things. So please get your life in order. As Jordan Peterson says, clean your room. And I love that so much because it's such a simple task, but most people don't even have their own bedroom in order. And I would argue that if your bedroom is completely all over the place, it might also be a reflection of your actual life. And I like the concept of cleaning your room and keeping your house in order and your environment in order, because that manifests into how you live your life in so many other aspects. When you complete such a simple task, such as making your bed first thing in the morning, you've already conquered something for the day. You've already organized something and put some order into your life. And it's going to set you up for those great habits the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and then months from now. And it's only going to compound, and you're going to just turn into this organized, this reliable student athlete, a disciplined student athlete. And that's really what it takes. And in today's world, the biggest competitive advantage one can have is being able to avoid distractions. That is how you are going to have an edge over everyone else, whether it's in your sports career, your actual career, applying to medical school and studying for the MCAT. It could be anything, but you have to know how to stay focused on the goals you want to accomplish. Are your daily activities and the things you're doing throughout your day, are you working closer towards completing the goal that you set out for? I'll give you guys an example. So, in my personal life right now, I've been very MIA from the podcast because for the time being for this season, it actually was a distraction for me because I have just been wrapping up summer off-season training and reassessing all of our athletes and making sure that we finish the summer strong. So my focus had to shift there. And had I been distracted from the podcast, I don't think I would have been able to get everything done I wanted to for my athletes. It really took up a lot of time as far as getting everyone reassessed and also transitioning everyone into in-season programs. When I write a new 3-month cycle of programming, it takes several hours to do that. And I just felt that the podcast was taking up too much space from me being able to really dial in and create quality in-season programs and make sure everyone was good. So that's why I've been MIA. But now that I've front ended everything, everyone's ready for in season, school is starting, club soccer is starting. I'm set for the next 3 months. Everyone's program is written. Of course, we do tweaks along the way, depending on schedules changing or playing time and the GPS data that we look at. So there are hours that go into it, but usually the front end of everything is the most work. And I had to get it done so that I can continue to be on top of things through the season and just not be stressed for the next few weeks and just to get everything in place. I really hope this chat helped, and I want you guys to organize your schedule for the next 3 months and really look at each week what you're doing. Do you need to write it down in a notebook? Do you need to put it on your Google Calendar? Do you need to have reminders in your phone? Please get organized, get your life in order, get your act together. You should never be running around all over the place. You shouldn't be so amplified and so stressed out all the time and overwhelmed. That tells me there's some breakdown happening behind the scenes, some form of disorganization. So get organized because, yes, stress will come, schoolwork will pile on, but it will be a lot easier for you to manage if you are organized and if you are getting everything in order. Let me know if you have any questions on how to get everything in order. And I just want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you do to stay on top of all the overwhelm that comes with being a student athlete? And how do you make time for the big rocks in your life? How do you make time for the homework you need to get done? Being able to go to practices and not be distracted by other projects? How do you get your in-season speed and strength in? How do you get your recovery in? What is your day-to-day look like? Are you intentional with each hour or each half hour? Or are you getting derailed by this? Are you getting caught up in a group chat with a bunch of your friends and getting back to them right away and feeling like you have to respond right this second, but you're ignoring the homework that actually needs to get done tonight? So think about what is essential right now, what needs to get done in this moment, what needs to get done tonight for tomorrow, and then everything else is just nonsense. You can get to it later. And I promise the world will still spin. So if you don't get on TikTok or you don't respond to your friends or that group chat right away, they'll still be there tomorrow. You can get back to them. It's totally okay. I have spent 3 to 5 days getting back to emails sometimes, but those emails weren't emergencies, they weren't urgent. And I could take my time with them and focus on getting my athletes reassessed or focus on a project I'm working on. By the way, exciting announcement coming soon, new project, and I will probably announce that next month, hopefully. It's something that I've also had to really prioritize amongst other things. I don't really do as much Instagram posting as I used to because this project is taking priority at the moment. And I think something like this is going to be way more impactful than posting on Instagram all the time. So stay tuned for that. But I hope this inspired you to get your act together, to clean up your life, to clean up your bedroom, and to just be over prepared for everything. It just makes life way easier. And if you start doing it now, then when you're a business owner or a doctor or whatever career you have, you are going to absolutely crush it. See you guys next time on Queen Talks.